Facebook page, Health and Freedom with Roger Cox. I'm doing this live video, and every time I do them, I'm nervous because you never know what's going to happen with a live, right? All kinds of things could happen, and you're afraid you're going to lose your train of thought, that you're going to mess up, and so these are tough to do. So it kind of ties in with the topic that I want to talk about today, and that topic is what we do sometimes to sabotage ourselves. That you probably know that there's some things that you should be doing, whether you're a network marketer or if you're just a normal average person. There's things that you know that you should be doing. If it's in your network marketing business, you know that you need to talk to a certain number of people. And maybe you have someone in mind, Jimmy down the street, and you're thinking, man, I really need to talk to him. But I'm not quite ready yet. I don't have the perfect script. I don't have the perfect opportunity yet, so I'll just wait until everything is perfect. And so what do? You do the same thing that I do. You overthink it. You think yourself out of it, and the next thing you know, it's 2 months down the road, and you've never talked to Jimmy. And so it's a common curse, for a lot of network marketers, that just getting that inertia to go and to do something. You know what you need to do, and you want to do it, but your mind just kind of said, oh, wait, hold on, you're not quite ready yet. You need to do this first. This has to be in place before you can do this. And so as a result, we don't do anything. And the fact is that any action, how imperfect it is better than no action at all. So that's what I want to talk about today. There's a lady by the name of Mel Robbins, I believe is her name, and she wrote a book, and it was entitled 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or something like that, or 5 seconds to something. But this was her situation. She had trouble in the morning to getting up, and so she would she does like we all do a lot of times. The alarm goes off, and you reach over and you tap the snooze button, and you go back to sleep. And you do this, for 3 or 4 or 5, maybe for an hour or whoever. You tap the snooze button, and you go back to sleep. Now, I don't particularly have that problem, because I found a long time ago that I will shut it off in my sleep if the alarm is anywhere close to me. So on purpose, I leave my iPad, my iPod, or whatever I'm using for alarm, I leave it clear on the other side of the room from where I'm sleeping, so that when that alarm goes off, I have to physically get up and go over and turn that alarm off. But by the time I've done that, I'm up, I'm out of bed, I'm halfway awake, as opposed to if I'm laying in bed and I just have to reach over and tap the snooze. I got to where I was doing that into my sleep, and that's what she was doing. She knew that to be successful, she needed to overcome that habit. She needed to be able to just get up and do it. So she got to thinking about NASA, the space guys that fly around, and their blast off. When they're getting ready to send something up, they start from 10, they go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When they hit the 0, you know what's supposed to happen. They're supposed to take off. Whether you're ready or not, you take off. And so that's the concept that she started using in her life. Started out with just sleeping through the snooze button. When the alarm would go off, she would hit the snooze, or she would turn it off, and then she would go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then she was out of bed. That's how she was able to get her day started. And we can use that principle in our network marketing business or whatever we're doing. Like I mentioned before, sometimes we tend to put things off because we're not quite ready. We have to go over it one more time. We have to rehearse it one more time. We want it to be perfect. We want to not make any mistakes, and so we practice and we practice and we practice until we know it. We feel that we're good enough to go out into the world with it. The problem is we don't go out into the world with it. We just keep practicing because it's never good enough. It's never going to be perfect. And so an imperfect action, no matter, an imperfect action is just better than no action at all. Because if it's an imperfect action, if you do it, you can always change it. You can always practice. You can always get better. when you're going down the road, and you see someplace 5 miles down the road and you can see it, and you're going to drive right to it, and so you turn your steering wheel to where you're going right at it, and then you just relax and go. Is that the way you do it? That's not what happens, because as well as I do, when you're going down the road, the next thing you know, you got to do a little correction. You got to move it a little bit, and a lot of times you overcorrect, so you got to move it back a little bit. You're constantly making corrections in order to get that place down the road. If you didn't, before long your car's going to go off the road, and you're never going to get to where you're going because you're not making the corrections as you go. And that's the key. We start out with imperfect actions, and then we improve upon them. We correct as we go. It's been told to me that just the space program, that I started talking about, when they send a guy to the moon, they're trying to make this just right, so so the astronauts and the moon gets to the same place at the same time. What I was told, that was more than half the time, it's a big number, maybe even 80 or 90% of the time, that spacecraft is off course. It's off course, so they fire a rocket or whatever, and it brings it back, and then they're good for a little while. And then next thing you know, they're off course again, or maybe they overcorrected and they're off course again, and so they're correcting back, and they're just making these corrections. And what I was told is, I'm no astronaut, as you can tell, I'm not an astronaut. But what I was told is that they make these corrections. They're off course 80 to 90% of the time, or at least a good half, is what I'm going to say, just to be conservative, because that's kind of the way I am. I'm conservative. So that's what you do. So, you may not be ready, so you go when you need to do something. If you need to pick up the phone and call Jimmy, and you're procrastinating because you just don't feel like you're going to get it right, you're going to stumble over your words, you decide, I'm going to call Jimmy. And then it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Call Jimmy right now. Don't stop. Just don't think about it. Just do it. And that's the way you get off that stationary thing where you're at. It overcomes the inertia, or I guess this is inertia that keeps you in one spot. But it gets you going. Then you don't overthink it. You say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it, whether it's right or wrong. I'm going to do it. I'll correct it later if I have to. I'll make the changes. So that's my tip for today. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're having trouble doing something that you really ought to be doing, right? We all have those things where we know that there's something we should be doing and we're not because of some reason. And most of the time that reason is because we don't want to. We don't feel we're good enough. We don't feel we're ready. And we're scared. There's a fear that comes in there. When you're up on the high dive, if you're afraid of going off the high dive, you can, if you're sitting up there, the longer you stand up there, the more time you have to talk yourself out of it. You got to go to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just go. Don't worry whether it's the perfect swan dive or the perfect 2.5 bilateral, by up and down, whatever the fancy term is. Just go. Just do it. And next time you make the corrections and you do it a little differently, you do it a little better. You just do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. That's my tip for today. Don't overthink. Just, if you feel like there's something you need to be doing, just make the countdown. When you hit the bottom number, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it. Don't worry about the outcome. Just do it. You can change it later. That's my video for today. Again, I'm Roger Cox. Facebook page is Health and Freedom with Roger Cox. I would really love it if you'd go over there and like my page and give me some likes. Give me some love, That's what this world is all about. What do we need? We need some love. Give me some love. Give me the hearts. Give me the likes. Share my stuff. And if you tell me you've done it, I will be sure and think about you. Think good thoughts, and I might even return the favor someday. So there's my show. If you missed the live, go back and catch the replay, and we'll be talking to you again later. Thanks. Bye.